welcome to another Kemetic Byte. I'm your host, Sharon. I know you guys have been waiting on some new videos, so hopefully here's the start of plenty more. I also have some good news. I have a new book out. This is Celebrating the Egyptian Gods. It's available on all the usual book channels, but I always encourage you to go on lulu.com. If you've never been on there, some people have asked questions. You just create an account and there's really nothing to it. And as some people pointed out with a previous video, not only are my books available there, but I was able to get Eye of the Sun by Kerry Wisner for substantially cheaper than what an original print was going for on Amazon. More on that in a minute. First of all, what's in Celebrating the Egyptian Gods? I have A to Z entries, or more like Amun to Wepwet, entries for all the different deities, but the difference with this one is I'm talking about them in a modern context. Who would be a patron deity of which profession or which activity? Things like that. What are good offerings? A lot of folks have asked questions about this sort of thing before, and this is a way for me to answer on as many different deities as I possibly could. And not only do I have fresh information, but I also have some kind of a prayer or a chant or something like that for every deity that I could find in here. Now, there is a section on what I call the lesser in need. Those are the deities that are a little harder to find information on, and I couldn't necessarily find, hymns or things like that to them because, for some of them, there just isn't a whole lot of information to be had. I talk about that in here. There's also a section that I put in here with as much information as I could find about Nubian deities. Now, before anyone screams cultural appropriation, I did this because there are people who are interested. I know I do have viewers of color who watch my show, and I really appreciate you doing so, and I wanted to try to find some information that people might be interested in, and to use it as a springboard so that they can go and find out more. I have a bibliography, as always, and there are things that I listed in here, even books that I couldn't get a hold of in time to put, information in here, but you can go and look up and use this as a springboard to do your own research and find out more things, make your own videos. So, that's the whole purpose of doing that. I also have in here a calendar that gives the Egyptian year, starting from when would be New Year's, not only for my system, but for two other major ones, Kemetic Orthodox and Kemetic Reconstructionist, so that you can compare across the chart for different dates, because a lot of people ask, well, when is this happening? When do they do that? And this is a way for you to compare. Generally speaking, there are some differences, like the Kemetic Orthodox, their calendar changes after a leap year because of the way certain things coincide. And so, I'm not an authority on that subject, but I was able to find a lot of things just by digging and talking to people. And so I've put that in here as a helpful resource for other people. So it's available on Lulu. Yes, it's also on Amazon. And if you check my Etsy store, I've put signed copies of this and other books of mine in the store. So for just a few dollars over cover price, you can get your own autographed copy. So hey, how cool is that? Now, I'm currently reading Eye of the Sun, The Sacred Legacy of Ancient Egypt by Kerry Wisner. I want to make sure that I give a very thorough review of this book because there are some interesting things that I noticed right off the bat. Now, this looks like something that originally was some kind of a workshop, or things that you might have had in a notebook taking some kind of a class, and he just compiled it together in this book. Because the formatting and also the size, I do my stuff to fit, standard paperback size. This looks like it started out as a workbook. And that's not a criticism, I'm just observing this. There are other things, though, that I want to try to research a little more before I talk too much in depth, because one thing I noticed initially is that there's some similarities between some things in his system and the House of Netger / Kemetic Orthodox. Now, what's interesting about that And I wish I could give you the exact link of where I found this, but I can just say that Wayback Machine is your friend. But about, I guess this would have been the 1998-2001 range, there were some postings and some updates from the House of Nature that mentioned a lunar calendar being developed by priest in training Kerry Wisner. So he was a part of the Kemetic Orthodox at one time, before going on to form this, which then traces to Kemetic Reconstructionism. And I want to try to find a little more information so I can give you exact, as best I can, from A to B to C on it. And also to talk a little bit more, because I noticed there is stuff in here about offerings, and there is a calendar, all sorts of things like that. So I'm going to read it and take notes. So that's coming soon. In the meantime, I've been trying to catch up on viewer comments and questions, and get to that, because right after I finished working on the book, I had a convention to get ready for in Kansas City, Missouri. It was a Transformers convention, which was a lot of fun, because we were doing vintage G1 Transformers. And on that note, if you happen to be a fan of the original, especially, I don't know if this is worldwide, but I know in North America, Fathom Events is doing something where on September 27th, you'll be able to watch the original movie from 1986 in the theater. So go to Fathom Events and check that out. I'm definitely going to be bringing a posse to go see it. But that's not exactly Kemetic related. It's just something fun for a lot of us who might happen to be similar age and similar interests. That's it for now, but I hope to have some more things coming up very soon. So in the meantime, enjoy, get your copy of Celebrating the Egyptian Gods, and Senebti.
Do you have a question about Egyptian paganism? Share it in the comments section, and it could be the topic of the next Kemetic Byte. Don't forget to subscribe, and check the video description for more ways to support the Kemetic Independent channel.